You've been stuck thinking the same thing lately. Why is there nothing to watch on YouTube anymore? The homepage is just full of late-night shows, movie trailers, and childish clickbait. Oh wait, this is still going on? You remember finding Tom Scar years ago, like most people did, for a Rest movie. Going to play with your friends and reciting almost any bit from the series, it stuck with you for years. Eventually you found his other stuff, his other animated shorts, and his sex ed videos.
Sex is awesome!
But what you really liked watching was his comedy sketches. They started out like most videos you'd seen on YouTube, short, low budget, and random. But at some point there was a shift, and the videos started getting weirdly cinematic. Not distractingly so. If anything, it looks like the natural progression of sketch comedy on YouTube. The Americans had been at it for years, with their greatest sets, props, and CGI. And though there was some of that here, Tom Scar seems to have represented a more British approach to sketch comedy. There's always been a tonal difference in comedy across the pond, but it's funny to see how clear it was even on early YouTube. With this inherent difference and the tight-knit nature of the community, sketch comedy in the UK seemed to be building around not just this style, but those people. Tom Scar may have been a sort of hub within the space, but many of these people created their own space for comedy on YouTube as well. Jack and Dean have been doing sketch comedy for almost as long, having been friends with Tom Scar and co through the start of YouTube. And it turns out cleverly written sketches with a recognisable comedy duo do pretty well. Sammy Paul is another who garnered his own style of comedy, leaning on his worryingly good ability to play an awkward character. Once again, there is a lot of overlapping collaborators, with many other creators tending to act as the foil to Sammy's characterful performances.
But I've turned into a printer.
Beyond this, it seems kinda hard to draw a solid boundary between what classes as a sketch comedy channel and what's something else. Many of the popular channels in the UK at this time became known as vloggers, a wave of relatable storytime and collab videos plaguing the website. But is every vlogger created equal? Would you call Crabsticks a vlogger? It depends. Though a lot of his stuff could be classed as a parody of vlogging, through comedy sketches, or just directly taking the piss out of him.
It's just like that.
Then, Danny's Not on Fire? Probably a vlogger, but he doesn't tend to go anywhere much. A lot of his videos almost follow a stand-up routine, first by introducing himself out of character, before leading into bits and written setups for punchlines. He uses props and costumes to play out a story, kind of, but it's all a bit too loose to count as a sketch. Maybe more like a series of personal anecdotes filled in with Family Guy cutaways?
Oh, hi, Grandma. Ah, here, boy. Take these.
All of this is to say, it's not all that defined what the UK comedy scene at this time was, but it was definitely there. But what now? Well, it's still ongoing through the big hitters, though the all-encompassing wave of sketches seems to have died down. However, in its place, many of those same creators have been applying themselves in a different way. The UK YouTube filmmaking scene can be described as almost running parallel to its sketch comedy scene. Its roots can be traced back all the same, to short, low-production videos from back to YouTube's inception. Bertie Gilbert started making vlogs at the age of 16, and within about 6 months of this he'd published his first short film on YouTube. After watching his first few films, it might be hard to find the connection from this to this.
Backy book.
But after a few years and a few more films under his belt, Rocks That Bleed shows just how much overlap there could truly be. Writing credits? Bertie Gilbert and Sammy Paul. Production? Bertie Gilbert and Jack Howard. Starring? Bertie Gilbert, Jack Howard and Chris Kendall. After this, Bertie would continue to collaborate with Jack, Sammy and Chris, bringing other creators into the fold in a way that seems familiar. These films really push past the supposed definition of what a YouTuber should be making. And yet, it still feels sort of at home on the website. Sammy Paul continues to pop up in the writing credits of many of the films, self-published or not. The Fleeting Little Life of Peter Wright by Timothy Houtekeet, Septum by Hazel Hayes, and many more published by Bertie Gilbert and Sammy Paul himself. In this period of just a few years, at least a dozen films have been published on YouTube, all finding themselves somewhere in the interconnected web of this scene. Not all of it overlaps, but there is one person, someone that joins up these films from beyond the screen, outside of writing or directing. Someone behind the camera going all the way back to the sketch comedy scene. If these films are joined by anything, it's their look, their lighting, their colour, and you'll find his name in almost any credits roll you can find. Kieran O'Brien has claimed the role of DOP on these videos from as far back as 2011, from Tom Scar's most popular sketches, to Bertie Gilbert's first film, way back to early Jack and Dean and beyond. There are more behind the scene that traverse these films, be it Dan Pugsley on sound, or Sylvia Veal on makeup and costumes. These people have built out the crew on more than their fair share of films and sketches, playing their part to bring all of these to life. There is another creator, perfectly within the UK YouTube scene, contributing to both sketch comedy and filmmaking. It's just that this channel has its own crew, one that's stuck together as a tight-knit group for years. Kick the PJ has been making YouTube videos since 2007, experimenting with short films soon after. With his short films mixed into his channel along with his other content, it's hard to distinguish what could be your average YouTube video from something weirder.
That gentle sea breeze makes me think of simpler times.
Beyond his, by PJ standards, more normal videos, he and his crew have been making short films of an ever-growing quality in between it all. Bloom is a cute, stop-motion creation made from cardboard, while Colour Bandits is a surrealist exploration of colour in a blank space. From the subdued lullaby cube to the origin of all origin stories, Wiggles begins, PJ has an absurdly diverse film catalogue. And as is always the case, the through line of these films remains the minds and abilities of the crew. Jamie Swarbrick's cinematography has been ever present in PJ's work, carrying out the most absurd of ideas with fittingly interesting camera choices. Sophie Newton and Louis Grant have likewise been bringing these worlds to life, always leaning on their cardboard and sticky tape aesthetic to make just the wackiest props and costumes. Finally, beyond their joint writing credits, PJ LaGuardia has directed and starred in each and every last one of their creations. And these aren't even their best ones yet, with projects such as Hair and Brimstone and The Forever Train being some of their most fully fledged films, starring bigger casts and greater set pieces. Through the combination of casting YouTubers with their newfound artistic ambition, these films blend much of the UK filmmaking style with its sketch comedy scene. Yet even then, it got bigger, with their original pilot Oscar's Hotel being turned into a fully fledged web series, containing puppets made by Jim Henson's Creature Shop and starring Patrick Stewart, among others. It's definitively their most ambitious project to date, and being able to see how far PJ, his crew, and the whole scene has come, it really makes you wonder, how was this all possible? How inspired must these people have been to create such a wave? One that through the collaborations of many independent creators made so many pieces of art. Out of a platform that never seemed meant for it, they went and made all of these anyway. And so, how inspired must you be, having been lucky enough to watch it all? How could something like this have been made by just two people at a time when YouTube was seen as nothing more than a fad? And how could making it have taken them so far? How far could you take it if you decided to do this yourself? To tell stories like those you've spent your life so far dreaming of? You could make anything, anywhere. It doesn't have to be the way they made it. But when there's no limit to what you can create, how do you decide where to start?